This is Frankie Abrazzino with the Scoop News, and we're covering homelessness. The two pictures you see up on the screen. It looks like the county and the city officials in Sarasota got together and they said, hey, look, we need to do something to combat the homeless situation within the county, within Sarasota, primarily with those two groups. But the county as a whole of Sarasota County needs to do something because it's an issue throughout. They had a 2-day meeting where the city, county, law enforcement, nonprofit leaders all came together and tried to decide what to do about homelessness. And this was driven by a grant, which I remember this individual, Judge Erica Quartermain, with the Comprehensive Treatment Court. She was on SRQ talking to the boys, donning them about it. And basically, she got this grant through some of the stuff she was doing with that program. But last week's discussion, it seemed like it's being reported that it didn't really detail where to go, but rather where they've been. The barometer at how well, or if you want to call it how good, some will say how bad, they've done in terms of homelessness. They still disagree on the emergency shelter. Both sides understand that you need these locations, these for housing, for triage and everything. And that's part of the grand scheme, the larger strategy in finding the homeless. If you all recall, we paid Dr. Margaret as a county and cities 6-digit numbers to come down here, and I don't think they followed any of his. I think it was a 12-step plan, and I don't believe anybody followed anything. You couldn't get these different entities to come together because essentially the county would come to Sarasota City and say, hey, we need this homeless facility, and they'd say, not in our neighborhood, but we want to help the homeless. So now you got the city consultant. He's preparing recommendations. Yep, we paid Margaret. That wasn't enough. So Sarasota came in. They paid a consultant now to come up with basically the same steps to limit homelessness as we paid Dr. Margaret to do. It's crazy how these governments operate and how they pay these consultants thousands upon thousands of dollars to come in and do the same thing. Nobody listens to them. So this consultant's going to create he's going to come up with a solution to create more affordable, permanent, supportive housing. Something I talked about when I was running for that mayor thing in Venice about the tiny housing, because I was at a forum in Northport and I heard about how they're planning on using tiny houses to help make affordable housing. And affordable, and I kept saying over and over, to me, affordable means looking for somebody that's making $30,000 a year, a house they can live in, because they can't afford $1,500 a month. Whereas at the city was looking at 72,000. And I used that example again when they were doing Laurel. I'm kind of honored that the mayor decided to take this on, the mayor of the city of Venice. I'm honored that he took it on. A little upset that he didn't say, hey, he basically said it was his idea and he didn't attribute anything to me. He's taken a few of my initiatives on, by the way, and has said nothing. But that's okay. I'm honored with it. I think most people know where they came from. And it's not about where they came from. It's about taking care of the issue. Because I'm telling you, I talk to people constantly throughout the county through my Scoop pages. They're having a hard time finding housing. And most of these people make 30, 40,000 a year, let's say. 40,000 is the high end. And they need to find houses that are more in the $800 range. I love that concept when I heard about it up in Northport about the tiny homes, because I'm big on the tiny homes. And the funny thing is the one in Venice isn't even within the city limits. It's actually in South Venice, from my understanding. But it's something that's needed. And that's one of the things they said in this report is housing first. And first of all, it's housing first or a central location. That's the big thing that the two governments are fighting over. But they both realize that you need some kind of housing, and you need a facility, be it tiny houses, some affordable housing, be it a shelter or whatever, to keep the homeless cycle from going through this cycle of jail, emergency room, or both of them at the same time, and then back in the streets. And with the increase in drugs, you had some good programs out there, like SPD has their homeless outreach team. The sheriff has Shifts homeless team where they're out there. I know the one that's trying to find vets and get vets off the street has had a lot of success. So hopefully these two entities will come together. I think that's going to be a sticking point, though. And I think, A, we got to stop paying these consultants if you're not going to listen to them. And B, you got to find common ground. Sarasota, the city of Sarasota may not want to shelter in their backyard, but I'm telling you, a shelter in your backyard in your city may be better than a ton of homeless that hang out near Shelby Library doing spice all day. Food for thought. There's been, oh yeah, and Venice and Northport should have been included in there. They need to get involved, and the other city would be Longboat. You guys need to get in there and be included to come up with a solution, because from what I'm seeing out there, the homeless crisis is getting worse. I'm seeing more and more homeless people out in the streets throughout the county: Sarasota, Venice, Northport, Inglewood, and Longboat. All right, everybody, this has been Frankie Abruzzino with The Scoop News.